No, 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 no. I couldn't wrap my head around something like that. And he told me, he said, next year I want you to make Hajj with me so I can give you the proper respect that you are due. Did you hear me? He said, I'm sorry I can't give that to you under these circumstances, but if you would come to Mecca with me, I will give you the proper honor that you would do. I didn't understand what that was. Do you know? This happened all over the world. Tomorrow, I'm going to bring out the cloak that he gave me and the staff that he gave me. I was a guest at the Oni of Ife, who is the king of all Yorubas in the world. He flew from London just to meet me. When I got to his palace, they took off my clothes and the clothes of my wife, and they dressed us in cloth, the like of which I had never seen before. It had gold threads all woven into it. And they installed Khadija and me and gave us a Yoruba name. And as we were leaving, his page walks in front of him with his sword, which is the symbol of his authority. He told the page, give him the sword. The page looked at him in shock. He snatched the sword out of the page's hand and handed it to me. I will bring it here tomorrow and show it to you. These are things that I don't talk about. When I was in Russia, in Dagestan, they dressed me in the garment of the ancient warriors. I'll bring that to show you. And when I just left Libya, one of the sheikhs, who's over millions, asked to come to my room, and when he came, he took off his fez, which symbolizes who he is and the degree of knowledge that he's attained. And he took that fez and he put it on my head. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In Nigeria, they had for me what is called a durba. They've only had it for about 9 people in 1,000 years. And they gave me that honor when I was there. Now, why don't I talk about these things? Because I didn't understand it. But I was reminded of some words that Elijah Muhammad spoke. He said to me, brother, Allah has gone in front of you and made friends for you all the way around the earth, and you will meet them at the proper time. Now, the time is getting close where the Muslim world will embrace us as the persecution gets greater and greater in America. I saw 10,000 homes in Saudi Arabia that nobody lived in. And I wondered who they built these homes for. And I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's words, "We will flee out of America into the open arms of the Muslim world." They're offering us scholarships to study in Mecca, in Medina, in Syria, in Egypt, in Libya. We have a great world of Islam. And now I close. Do you know how powerful your thoughts are in giving a baby its leanings? Listen. Do you know that thought shapes matter? Why do you think Jesus said, "As a man thinketh, so is he"? One day, God willing, I will come back to a class like this and talk about how thoughts shape matter and how you give your children leanings toward homosexuality or lesbianism just by the way you think when you're shaping life in your wombs. Oh, come on, Farrakhan. See, I'm not telling you things that I haven't studied and experienced. When I was a young believer, I was with my uncle one day, and I told him the condition that was around my mother when I was being formed in her womb. He wanted to know from me, how did you know? And I told him, I studied myself. I am a product of thinking that went on around my mother when she was forming me, to show every one of you that are pregnant, that's not a time to be silly. That is not a time to be engaged in foolish pursuits, because God is using your womb to form a new creation. That's how sacred you are. But when we meet again, I would like to talk about how environment affects heredity. And no matter what your DNA is, the way we think and the environment that that thinking produces can redirect nature. All of this lesbian and homosexual activity is not an accident. I'll read something to you and we'll leave. This is from an article written by a man who interviewed who interviewed Aaron Russo, who was talking to this man about what he learned in a discourse with one of the Rockefellers. Now, this is third hand. It's Mr. Russo talking about what he heard from Nicholas Rockefeller, but it's so important, I thought I would mention it.